Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the subtopic of this 10-minute moan is Angela Rayner, who's joined the queue of Labour cabinet ministers who appear to have told porcupines in their CVs. Now this isn't, you'd think, one of these would be a mental when we had Reeves telling us she was what was it she had? An auditor. She was some superb finance person when she wasn't. We then had Reynolds claim he was a solicitor when he was training to be one. And now it appears that Angela Rayner has also caught this bug of exaggerating her CV. But this one's an odd one because she seems to have exaggerated the amount of time she worked as a carer. We had this wee hard-working socialist, trade unionist, common woman in the heart of our government who were led to believe had been a care worker for a long time. And she has been a care worker, and for a sensibly long time, but we seem to want to exaggerate that a bit. So the Daily Mail go with, now Angela Rayner's CV is under scrutiny over how long she worked as a home help. Angela Rayner became the latest cabinet minister to face questions over their CV last night after conflicting accounts and how long she'd worked as a carer emerged. The Deputy Prime Minister's recollection of how long she worked as a home help has ranged from 7 to 17 years on 4 separate occasions. Last night, sources close to the Housing Secretary clarified that she'd worked in the private sector from 1998. She was subsequently employed by Stockport Council between year 2000 and 2015, but Tories called on Ms Rayner to clear up the inconsistencies. Try saying that again. Inconsistencies in her record publicly. It comes after 2 of her cabinet colleagues, Chancellor Rachel Reeves and Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds, faced scrutiny and calls to resign after making dubious claims about their previous employment. Ms Rayner's shortest reported stint on her Who's Who page says that she worked as a home help between 1998 and 05. That's 7 years. Who's Who typically asks those who wish to be included to write their own entries and ask annually if the biography needs updating. And Miss Rayner's entry was last updated 2024 to describe her role in the new government. And in 2014, on her candidacy page, prior to becoming the MP for Ashton-under-Lyme, she said, "My first job was as a carer, looking after elderly people in their own homes. I stayed in that profession for almost a decade and experienced the conditions that often make headlines today. That's why I joined a trade union." But in 2020, a post on Facebook was uncovered by Guido Fawkes. She complained that she'd spent 14 years. She claimed that she'd spent 14 years as a home care worker contracted to Southport Council. Posting an image with a former colleague, Rayner wrote, "Exactly 5 years ago tonight, after 14 years service in local government as a home carer, I left Stockport Council." This would indicate that she stopped working as a carer in 2015. And yet last year, amid furore over the sale of her council house in Stockport in 2015, she said, "At the time of the sale of the house, I was a home carer and it was my home," suggesting she'd spent 17 years in the job. Sources close to the Deputy Prime Minister said that during her time at Stockport Council, she was elected to 2 trade union roles in unison, an assistant branch secretary in 2005 and the branch secretary in 2011. But her permanent and substantive role remained as a home help. But prior to joining the council, she began work as a carer in the private sector in 1998. The emergence of these conflicting accounts came just days after the business secretary was rebuked by a legal watchdog for wrongly claiming to be a solicitor. Mr Reynolds never qualified as he quit his training post early to become an MP, prompting the Solicitors Regulation Authority to write to him last month telling him to correct his error on LinkedIn. Meanwhile, the Chancellor was revealed to have made a series of dubious claims on her CV and Who's Who entry, inflating her time worked at the Bank of England and claiming she'd written for a renowned economic journal. She was also wrongly claimed that she was an economist during her time at Halifax Bank of Scotland between 2006 and 2009, later updating her online CV to say she worked in retail banking. And then we've got some feedback from the Tories, who are obviously going to say this is a terrible thing. But isn't it bonkers how that's 3 people out of a cabinet, which isn't like massive, already found to be telling porcupines? And we actually entrust these people to look after our country. We entrust them to make some big decisions for you and I. Yet we can't trust them to even fill out their own LinkedIn profiles accurately. What chance have we got when this is 3 out of cabinet? That's a big chunk of your cabinet. And by the way, see when the Rachel Reeve one that came out, that she wasn't an economist, we kind of thought, well, that's a bit rubbish. Nobody expected more. Then the boy Reynolds came out, was that last week, or at the start of this week? And now we've got him even telling lies about being a home help for the length of time. So it makes me wonder, how many of them have been telling porcupines? And really, is that not a good barometer of allowing people to go in their cabinet, as if they tell lies or not? And if people are telling lies, why do we put up with them? Really, the quality of our MPs and MSPs, I may add, in the United Kingdom right now is pretty damn shocking. It's no great. And these people, they're just examples of something that's widespread, and I don't think it's unique either just to red rosetted MPs. I'm quite happy to accept that this is probably repeated over all, if not almost all, of the other parties, where those who are in the positions of power have been embellishing their own past careers and talking themselves up, which is a bit bonkers, isn't it? But that's it. That's where we have it. We have how many people's on the cabinet? I don't know, 15, 20. So we're talking about maybe 20%, 15 to 20% of your cabinet have been caught already telling lies about their previous jobs. Imagine not knowing if you were a solicitor or not. Imagine believing you were an economist when you kind of just worked in retail banking. And imagine not knowing the difference between 7 and 17 years when you've been in a job for a long time. It's most peculiar. And when you were sitting, if you ask somebody a question, just in passing, they might be like, okay, well, how long did I do that job? Maybe 10 years. But the fact that they've taken time to sit down and put them into CVs and LinkedIn, etc., it's absolutely bonkers. It's bizarre. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Let me know your comments below. It's always good fun to hear your feedback. And remember, down this at the end of the video, YouTube will put a video down the bottom right that they think you'll like that you've not already watched. So, most important of all though, unless you're the type of minister that tells fibs about your employment, not you, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.